which the New York Times was very excited about, and everyone's screaming, "Oh, he's looking for some sort of quid pro quo because he wants to get rid of his illegal migrants, and that's why he's letting him go." Which, frankly, the term quid pro quo in this context is very misleading, because normally when people say quid pro quo, they're talking about a personal benefit. I want you to do this. I'll do this for you, and you do something back for me. That's the connotation that everyone assumes when they hear the term quid pro quo.
I guess I meant this for that.
This for that.
That's technically what the Latin term means. That's true. That is technically what the Latin term means. But when people hear it,
I can see it though, because it helps Trump personally, politically, if he does help with the migrants, and
does he need help politically? What help does he need politically? Is he ever running for anything ever again? What help does he need politically? He doesn't need help
needs
politically.
to get actions to take place for his presidency.
Oh, okay, but that's not a personal benefit.
Well, it's not legacy. Come on now.
I think what Joe is doing. Yeah, I think what Joe is doing is trying to redefine what quid pro quo to make it.
No, I'm telling you.
But Joe, everybody can see it. You're saying it's personal benefit. No. But Nate, you do this for me, help me with immigration, and then I'm going to do this for you and drop the charges. You're bullshitting us now.
No, that's crap. That's crap.
You are bullshitting us now.
No, that's crap. I'll tell you what.
You know it's this for that. This is a quid pro quo.
You're full of hot garbage, and the reason you're full of hot garbage, I'll point out to you. Okay?
I don't think it's this for that.
Every single time.
You drop the I'll drop the charges.
Every time some prosecutor says, "I will drop charges against you as long as you roll over against the other guy," you're going to call that quid pro quo?
That's for that. Yes. If you roll over on this other guy, that is a.
But that's also called negotiation and politics. So we're not using quid pro quo in the criminal extortion or corruption sense. So everything's quid pro quo. It means nothing anymore. Congrats, we've lost a word.
Quid pro quo means I'm doing this for that. I'm doing this for that. Let's not use quid pro quo. Let's use what it means. This for that. If you do this, I'll give you that. If I help you with immigration, you will drop the charges. And he helped you with immigration, and he's dropping the charges.
No, that's not even true. You guys, hold on. Back up. That's not even true, Nate, because here's the thing.
Okay.
He was being politically targeted, because he was fighting back against immigration, because he spoke out against Biden. This isn't giving him a benefit.
So hold on.
Hold on.
Go ahead, Danny. Go ahead.
All this is doing is undoing what the Biden administration did in utilizing the DOJ and weaponizing it against Eric Adams. We can no longer handle this many migrants, period.
Well,
so I don't see it as a quid pro quo.
Hold on. Can I respond?
Nate's going to say that the investigation predated that, so that
I'm not even going to say that. I'm going to say I think maybe it's good if we maybe read the document, because in the document, with Danny, what you're saying would be great, but in the document they're saying drop the charges. They said we didn't even look at the evidence. We didn't look at all that. So you may believe that, but the Justice Department is not saying that. They're saying we didn't look at it. Hold on. No. Viva. Let me. I am
pull up the letter.
I am responding to it, but you just don't like the response. Let me bring up the facts, because I know the facts are a dangerous thing. Here are the facts. They say here. No, I'm reading the facts. The facts are a dangerous thing. And I don't think that's true. The Justice Department has reached this conclusion without assessing the strength of the case, the strength of the evidence, or legal theories on which the case is based. Hold on. Let me just finish. What Danny's point was, well, because Eric Adams was being targeted and these charges may be false, blah, 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 we're going to drop them for the benefit. But that is only true if they evaluate the case. If they evaluated the case, none of what Danny's saying is applicable, because they didn't even look at the evidence in the case and then dropping the charges. I know you guys. They shouldn't look at the evidence that you're saying.
No, yes, right? Because everything that came from this was the fruit of the poisonous tree argument that could be used against them in court. If push came to shove and they got into court and there was discovery, it turns out that the prosecution team had this motivation to go after him point blank and to find evidence to make up charges along the way, he could absolutely argue that. So yes, legally speaking, there is no reason to get into the facts of the case or to get into the theories of the case. If the entire case was based on targeting Eric Adams for political retribution, that's the point that I'm trying to make here.
Let's step back a little. So if that is the case, and they feel like it was a political prosecution, why didn't they just say we're dropping this case because it was excessive use of the Justice Department?
Yeah, why not just drop it all away?
This is political prosecution.
Because they want to do the same, and they don't want this thrown back in their face.
Because they really want to hold this over his head until November 2025 and keep the pressure on him so they can help. And we don't want to, and we don't want to say it because it's supposed to be good for Trump. But listen, people, this is corruption at the highest level because they're using the Justice Department to put pressure on Adams to do it. And as a matter of fact, they even mention it in the same document that they want him to help with immigration. So now I understand why Joe doesn't want to accept it, but Joe doesn't want to accept the fact that they didn't even look at the evidence. They didn't even look at the legal theories. And they said, we're going to put this aside and we're going to wait until, guess what? We make sure you do it. Go ahead, Joe. Tell the lies and get the narrative. Listen to him, people. Listen to him, people. If this was Joe Biden, he'd be saying something different. Go ahead and lie.
I gave you an analogy of someone getting a witness to roll over. Whenever they get a witness to roll over, do they say we're dismissing the charges of prejudice? No. Why? Because they want the person to actually act. I don't think there's any denial here. This is an objective that they want him to actually help in getting rid of migrants. So of course you're going to dismiss it without prejudice, because if you dismiss it with prejudice and you can never bring these charges again, in that case, what is his incentive once he gets out of jail? It's a get out of jail free card. What's his incentive to actually carry through on his commitment? I don't think that there's anything wrong with this, because I think it's the exact same thing as when we get a witness to roll over on someone else, but it's helping society. The entire objective here is the prosecutor is supposed to be benefiting society. It's not quid pro quo with the ugly taint of that term if the objective is to help society. Now, unless you're saying that this person now being forced to help society is a quid pro quo, which no one ever uses that term, then that's because the term quid pro quo implies that there's an ugly taint to this negotiated deal. No one likes having to let someone go. I'm wrapping up here. No one likes letting him go, but the reason why you dismiss it without prejudice is because you want to make sure that he actually carries through on his promise to help get rid of the migrants. Is that benefiting society the same way when someone rolls over on a bigger fish? That's benefiting society, that you're getting rid of a terrible criminal and letting go of a lesser criminal. And the overall net benefit society, while ugly in that you're letting this person walk, is still better than not making that deal.
Okay.
Similarly,
Joe,
better to let him help with migrants. And then
let David jump in.
I gotta go do my show. So sorry, guys, but I just want to say one thing.
Go ahead.
Nate's theory is redundant, because when you dismiss the charges without prejudice, it goes by definition that you can bring them back whenever you need to. You don't need to specify why you reserve the right to bring them back later. And so I agree that it looks like something of a quid pro quo. Dismissed without prejudice, they can necessarily bring the charges back later. It goes without saying that they expect some cooperation, but they expect that anyhow. So they didn't need to say, we didn't look at the evidence, we reserve the right to bring them back after November, because you could have done that anyhow just by virtue of the fact that they were dismissed without prejudice. With that said, I got to go do my show. I'm sorry, guys.
Does extortion lead to quid pro quo? I make your life hell until you comply. Doesn't sound like a mutual agreement when the victim submits. There is a it's question.
The problem is that, so Joe, I understand Joe's argument. Joe's argument is that, hey, we're doing it for the benefit of society. We're going to hold these charges over his head so he complies with our immigration policy. And and if that's what Joe is saying, I think that's corruption at its fullest extent. When you're holding criminal charges that you can bring now over someone's head and like a leaf and say, hey, we're going to bring these charges only if you don't do what we say politically. That's corruption. And we all, if this was a Democrat doing it, I'd be saying the same thing. It just happens to be Trump. Now, I'm not saying I'm mad about it, but I'm just calling it what it is. This is you do this for me, I won't do this for you, and they're doing it with criminal charges.